Probably the biggest news outside of March Madness is the Shohei Ohtani scandal. Obviously, there's not a whole lot of facts. There's a whole lot of speculation.
Yeah.
But it ain't looking pretty.
What we know, I guess you could say no, is his translator has a gambling problem.
Right.
Like I said, just this is all pure speculation with what we know. But he had a debt paid off, and I think it was it all stemmed from this $4.5 million. I don't know if it's considered a wire transfer, but the account or I guess the people who ever run this offshore gambling, because I think it's still illegal. Sports gambling is illegal in California.
Right.
That bookmaker is under federal investigation. So when they got their wire transfers, that's when it all started to come to light. And I think the most damning piece maybe for me is the way it's kind of been handled by Shohei Ohtani's camp, because they kind of wheeled this interpreter out to give a story to ESPN. And then before it came out, they backtracked and said, no, we disavow everything this guy is stating.
Right.
And then now, Ohtani's camp and his lawyers are basically trying to paint this guy as he's a liar. He's a scumbag. He stole from Shohei. Shohei didn't really know what he was doing. I don't know. I mean, this guy was it would be with the Braves, Ronald Acuna Jr., the guy that interprets for him majority of the time.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's
But
a
the
weird
difference
situation.
is with this guy, they said that he's been Shohei Ohtani's best friend since I guess childhood.
I don't think it's childhood.
They've been really good friends for a long time.
Yeah.
So it's not like with Acuna, that's a team, provided.
I think this guy was a team interpreter when he was with the Angels, but I think he was hired specifically for Shohei. I don't know if they knew each other prior to him coming over to America.
Yeah.
Because another thing is I don't know why this is related to this story, but I think it's it goes back to the picture Ohtani's team is trying to paint, where this guy stated he went to some college out in California. It was like UC Berkeley or something, California Riverside, something like that. He didn't. He stated he was an interpreter for the Red Sox for another player, a Japanese player. Red Sox said he never worked for him, which in the grand scheme of things really isn't that big a deal, but they're trying to fit it to this specific narrative
he's a liar,
where he kind of took advantage of Shohei. And I'm sorry, they say, there's just been a lot of stuff that's been said where Shohei doesn't really know too much about other sports, but there's pictures of him at all these other sporting events. And I think they used him not fully understanding English and basically saying the interpreter kind of
understands how his bank account works.
His interpreter kind of manipulated him. This is all pure speculation. We don't know anything. Now, I think it's going to come out because you've got the federal government investigating this interpreter. You've got the MLB investigating it, because this is a big deal. I mean, the MLB, and this wasn't Rob Manfred himself, but I mean, look at Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Pete Rose, he did gamble on baseball. He never bet against his team that he was playing on, but he's banned for life. So they got to be very careful in how they want to approach it, because Ohtani's not just this middle reliever who pitches 3 innings for the Kansas City Royals. I mean, he plays on the Los Angeles Dodgers, who's one of the biggest teams in the world. He's a international superstar. He's the face of baseball, because these professional leagues, especially baseball and basketball, are represented by a ton of countries.
Yeah.
Especially in baseball with the Japanese culture. It's a big deal. This is not something they wanted to happen right before the season starts.
Yeah, I just claiming ignorance at this day and age come on, dude. That's tough to
in
believe.
my personal opinion, and like I said, we have no way to know if this is true or not. I think he did initiate the payment, but I don't think he truly knew what it was going to be for, or maybe he didn't know the ramifications of making this payment. Because there's people saying, somebody who makes the amount of money, I guess the interpreter makes, I think his last name is Ippei. You don't get that big a credit for a gambling thing. I don't know. I'm limited on what I know in terms of gambling, especially if it's something illegal based where it's like this offshore bookie that gives you all these credits. I watched a podcast one time where, they gamble with Dana White out in Vegas and, like they give you this big old credit and it's like a loan almost.
Right.
So do I think he knew? Ohtani knew? Maybe, probably.
I think that most, and obviously you can never say for sure.
Yeah.
But obviously I sent you a thread about, some games that came up where there were huge bets. You had $1 million bet. And look, players are going to have bad games. Even Shohei Ohtani, the Mike Trout, the Ronald Acuña's, the best players in the league, they're going to have bad games. Yeah. But, this thread does not help him out at all when you say, like, okay, $1 million bet came on this day, and it was, that Shohei Ohtani would give up a certain amount of runs. Well, he gives up that amount of runs. Yeah. And then an even larger bet comes in later, and it was multiple things. Like, he's got to, not record a hit, give up runs, and he hits all of these things. Yeah. And then an even larger bet comes in after that, and it's just like, okay, like, it's one thing when you say, okay, he had a bad game and somebody just happened to place $1 million bet on this. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But then when you say, all right, now, wait a second, he hit like a 2 or 3 leg parlay and him throwing things. It wasn't like, and I think the thing with Pete Rose was, and a lot of people, don't think that he should be banned, was he was betting on himself. He said, okay, you said that we're going to win by 2 or 3. I'm going to make sure we win by 4. Yeah. He was always betting that his teams would win. Yeah. He was actually going out there and putting money on himself and saying, okay, not only do I want to win this game, I got money on it, so I'm going to do even more to win, where it kind of looks like Shohei was throwing games in some of these large bets.
But we don't know that.
Obviously you can't prove it, but it is very fishy. Yeah. Like I said, if there was a one game where $1 million and, he just had a bad game, sure. Yeah. But then when you get into he's hitting 2 and 3 leg, parlay parts of these bets. Yeah. And it's like, okay. Yeah, and each time the bet's getting bigger and bigger. Yeah.
It's gonna come out. Like, we're gonna know something. And I think honestly the way it's gonna go is this interpreter's gonna end up being the fall guy. Ohtani's not gonna get in trouble because he's a global mega superstar. I don't know. Again, we don't know fully all the details. Yeah. So like I said, this is all speculation.
Shohei is supposed to speak later today.
Yeah,
for the first time.
Yeah, we are recording Monday morning. Yeah. So I'm very curious to see.
He's going to throw that guy under the bus. He's just going to say,
"Well, they already are."
Yeah.
But the thing is, there's one thing to give a press conference, but when you're in, say you're questioned by federal investigators, you're now, you can perjure yourself if you didn't know, or you could tell the truth.
Here's the thing: is like, then let's just say that Ohtani did know, but he wasn't throwing games, that he was just helping this guy out, but he knew what it was for.
He's still like an accessory.
What's to keep Ippei or whatever from saying, look, he knew. Yeah. Here's where I have a text, I have an email, I have something where he says, make this payment, take it out of my account. Yeah. This, that, and the other. Mm-hmm. Whether you're betting on it, throwing games or not, like you said, he's an accessory to this scandal.
And I don't think it could be wrong because, like I said, we don't know a whole lot. I don't think it's over multiple things. I think it's just one specific payment, but it's a
I think that what it is that one specific payment has spurred on the looking into it, which has come up with these other speculations of these bets that were made.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's multiple bets, but I think it was just one payment that was made though to cover his gambling debt.
Yeah, but that one payment leads into an investigation. Well,
yeah, I know, but it's multiple games, obviously,
because the bets that I was talking about here were made in Shohei Ohtani's hometown. Yeah, that's what makes it even more weird. Is like
it's fishy. Like I said, more details I think will come out as the investigations go along. And
it could help Pete Rose out. It could get his ban. Because here's the thing: if they find out that Ohtani did something, what do you do? Do you say, okay, look, we're banning the face of baseball? Yeah, and he's done. Yeah. Or do you try and give him just like a year suspension or something? Because if you do that, you have to go back and take away Pete Rose's ban. Yeah,
and you've got this predates a long time ago, but you got the White Sox. Or they may even been the Black Sox at the time, I think, where, like Shoeless Joe Jackson and all those were accused of throwing games, which I think some of them did, but you could never. It's like what they talk about in Field of Dreams. Like they could never prove that Shoeless Joe Jackson gambled or was trying to throw the game. So yeah, I mean, like I said, this is all speculatory. We don't truly know a lot of stuff. We know that the interpreter, the translator, apparently has a huge gambling problem. Had a big debt. Somebody paid it. And I think it is coming from Ohtani's account, but did he know about it? That's something we'll definitely have to keep up with.
It's one thing if like $8,000 in the grand scheme of what his bank account probably looks like if $8,000 goes missing, but if it's like $80,000 or $800,000, you know, whatever that number was, like that's a huge chunk to just go missing and you not know.
But I think he paid it, but I think it all is going to stem from like how did the translator interpreter pitch it to him? Like what did he really know what he was paying off? I don't know. Like I said, we'll find out, but it's definitely not a good look.
I just find it tough to believe that like somebody that you probably work with every day and you don't know that they. I mean, he just comes up to you and tells you he needs $80,000 because he's in debt. Okay, you're not just gonna give someone $80,000 and not be like, hey, for what? Like what's going on? Like,
but if it's somebody, I guess, like in that specific situation you trust, and you know. $80,000 really isn't that. I mean, just with that figure you threw out, that's not really a big number for Shohei.
It's not, but I still think like, you know,
I think it's just something where he can kind of play coy because he's still kind of new to the American culture. He may not know the language that much, and he just trusts this guy that's been with him since he's I think been in America. So yeah, it's. If it ends
the thing is no one's going to believe that. Like,
I know, but it's all about.
You can play coy, and you can.
But it's all about what you can prove, though.
Yeah, it is, and he may end up getting away with it. Yeah, but no one will ever. And the thing is like, his reputation is pretty. It's not like demolished now, but it's tainted for sure. Like people don't see him, especially people that are like deep into baseball. Yeah, that are baseball fans. That you know. Yeah, it's tainted him for sure because no one's ever going to believe that. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, like I said, it'll be interesting to see what comes out from it. So I'm very curious because, like I said, he's not this just no name guy in baseball. Right. I mean, he's the face.
He's the face of baseball.
Yep.
I mean, and he's like I said, he's a global mega superstar in the game of baseball.
Yeah, but like you said, to say that he doesn't know like American sport, like he's at all these other like
but like I said,
all this stuff where he's trying to play coy, it's just like. Yeah, but you're doing these other things that this doesn't make sense. Yeah.